The Indian economy is booming this year. The country's GDP is expected to grow between 6 and 7%, making India the fastest-growing major economy in the world. It is anticipated that India will go from about $3.5 trillion in 2023 to about $7 trillion by the end of the decade. Although the US and China still surpass the nation in terms of total gross domestic product, driven by a population of 1.4 billion, India could become the leader in global economic growth. Many of the world's leading investment banks are eyeing India as a top investment destination right now, including Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and Barclays. With so much investment flowing in, companies around the world may soon need to have a strategy for India. But what will it take for the country to achieve economic breakthroughs? For now, China still holds the title as the main driver of global economic growth. Its economic opening in the late 70s only accelerated after 2001 when it joined the World Trade Organization. It was the country that attracted foreign investment, the driver of financial markets, and global capital markets. Every company around the world needed a strategy to deal with China. India did not start to liberalize its economy until the 90s, and it has been a slow climb since. But with the current levels of about 7%, growing just a bit faster is all it needs to surpass China. India's per capita income has grown sevenfold from the early 90s until now. There has also been significant progress in the financial markets. Geopolitics and China's own internal struggles are tilting this trend in India's favor. What you are seeing recently is that investors around the world, as they shift away from China, are actually putting a lot of new funds into India. This is more evident than at the Samsung factory in Noida, on the outskirts of New Delhi. This area was farmland a decade ago. Now it's the world's largest mobile phone factory, producing 120 million devices a year. Samsung opened the plant in 2018 when doing business in China was becoming increasingly difficult. It is not alone. As the Chinese economy stumbles, companies from Apple to Boeing are looking elsewhere, and particularly at India, as an engine of growth and a democracy that delivers results. India was growing fast enough to take the lead as recently as 2021, and the government says it can do it again, but first, it must overcome some major obstacles in these key areas: manufacturing, urbanization, workforce, and infrastructure. For decades, China has been the world's dominant force in manufacturing. China is the world's assembly line, with manufacturing accounting for 26% of the Chinese economy, while in India it's only 16%. The government aims for the manufacturing sector's share to grow to 25% by 2025 to boost manufacturing. About 150 million Indians still working as farmers would need to move and take up factory jobs for this change to occur. For decades, both China and India had vast rural economies and were largely dependent on agriculture. In the 1990s, China rapidly urbanized its economy, moving away from a traditional rural agricultural economy to a more modern urban industrial economy. Currently, 64% of China's population lives in urban areas, compared to 36% in India. India needs many more cities. There has already been significant progress in terms of city interconnectivity, with more railway networks and better airport infrastructure, among others. However, there are crucial issues like water, traffic, and urban housing that need to be addressed. An urban population supports a robust workforce, and in 2023, India surpassed China as the world's most populous nation. While China's population is aging, more than half of Indians are under 30, of prime working age. This will be crucial, as history has shown that whenever the demographic dividend is in a country's favor, that country grows rapidly. Having a large young and growing population is of no use if there aren't enough jobs for everyone. Unemployment in the country remains stubbornly high, at around 7%, partly due to the poor quality of education. About half of all university graduates remain unemployable. Moreover, not enough women are working in India. China has a female workforce of about 45%, while in India it's 29%. Closing the gender work gap could expand India's GDP by nearly a third by 2050. Many economists believe that if India can find enough jobs for all these people, then the sky's the limit in terms of growth. An increase in manufacturing, in turn, will create demand for more service jobs and encourage people to join an urban workforce. But to achieve this transformation, India needs infrastructure, and lots of it. For a long time, India has been plagued by inadequate roads, insufficient or poorly maintained railroads, unfair airports, and not enough seaports. Infrastructure is really one way in which China overtook India in the early 90s. India's railway network was 15% bigger than China's, But as China's economy began to grow, it quickly took the lead, and its rail network is now 60% larger. India is making progress. The country's national highway network has expanded more than 50% since 2014. If India can tackle these challenges, then foreign direct investment is likely to increase, and this flow of money is an essential driver of growth. But accomplishing all this is no easy feat. India also needs to increase its ease of doing business. The bureaucracy is such that it's not very easy to start a business in India and operate. Many in India remain optimistic that they can surpass China as the world's biggest growth engine. The Narendra Modi administration recognizes that the US and other Western countries are looking for a partner in the region that is not China, to partner at a time when China is becoming more assertive in the region and more closed off to foreign companies and investors.